Okay, let's talk about sleep, but probably not in the way you're used to. See, today, we're not actually here to try and fix anything. We're just going to get curious about our body's own natural rhythm. The goal here is to learn how to work with it instead of constantly fighting against it.
If you're here, I'm guessing the night can sometimes feel like a real battle. There's the frustration, the exhaustion, maybe even a feeling of hopelessness. That constant clock watching and the anxiety, it's just a heavy weight to carry around.
So let's start by just taking all of that pressure off. Seriously, for the next few minutes, I want you to completely forget about trying to fix your sleep. Our only goal is to understand what's actually happening inside your body. Think of this as the very first step in learning a new language, your body's unique language of sleep. Now, before we can build a new, healthier foundation, we've got to check the old one for cracks. And that means taking a hard look at some of the common ideas we all have about sleep, ideas that might be getting in our way without us even realizing it. Let's start with the biggest sleep myth out there, that magic 8-hour rule. We hear it everywhere, right? But as you can see, the biological reality is that there is no one-size-fits-all number. It's just not true. Just like your height or your shoe size, your personal sleep need is completely unique to you. Some people are totally fine and healthy on just a few hours a night, while others might need 10 or even more. So the very first step toward freedom from sleep anxiety is just letting go of that rigid 8-hour expectation.
So, if it's not about hitting some magic number, what does actually govern our sleep? Well, let's meet the powerful internal conductor of your sleep orchestra, your body clock. This internal clock has a scientific name. It's called your circadian rhythm. But really, you can just think of it as a master timekeeper, running in the background 24/7. It dictates this predictable daily pattern for almost everything your body does, including, and this is the important part for us, when you feel sleepy and when you feel awake. And this is a brilliant illustration of how we can actually see this rhythm in action. This graph here shows the 24-hour cycle of your core body temperature. And you'll notice it's not random at all. It follows this very predictable wave. And that wave is one of the most powerful signals your body clock uses to regulate your sleep. Let's break that down. Your temperature hits its absolute lowest point in the very early morning, usually when you're in deep sleep. Then it starts to rise, which helps you wake up and feel alert for the day. It hits its peak in the late afternoon, and then, here's the key part. As your temperature begins to fall in the evening, that drop acts like a starting pistol for sleep. It's signaling to your brain that your biological bedtime is coming up. So this whole system works beautifully when we're in sync with it. But what happens when our lifestyle, our work schedule, our social life, the time we want to go to bed, starts to fight against this really powerful internal rhythm? We've all heard of jet lag, right? It's that awful, disoriented feeling you get after a long flight. But here's the thing. You don't need a plane ticket to experience it. This internal conflict can happen anytime your daily schedule is at odds with what your internal body clock wants to do. You can think of it as a kind of social jet lag. And this slide shows that conflict perfectly. That black line, that's your natural temperature rhythm, your body's clock. The gray line, that represents your desired schedule. See how they're out of sync? So when you try to go to bed at your desired time, your body temperature might still be high, which is basically telling your brain, nope, not time yet. We're still in daytime mode. This is what creates that super frustrating feeling of being tired but wired. This misalignment, this mismatch, it often leads us into a cycle of bad habits. When we feel like we've had a bad night, our first instinct is to try and make up for it. But as we're about to see, these efforts can actually backfire and make the problem even worse. Do any of these look familiar? Taking a long nap during the day, trying to go to bed super early the next night, or just lying there in bed worrying and worrying about the sleep you're not getting. And while these seem like totally logical solutions, they can actually confuse your body clock even more, making it that much harder for your natural rhythm to get back on track. And all of this brings us to the real foundation for change. It all comes down to this. Understanding your unique sleep need and your body's own internal clock is the key. It's about shifting your entire mindset from fighting your body to finally working with it. I want you to let this quote really sink in for a second. It's so important. It's not just the lost sleep itself that's the problem, it's the worry about it. The incredible pressure we put on ourselves to get it back is often the very thing that keeps us awake. The struggle itself becomes the biggest obstacle. And here is some really reassuring news.
Your body is incredibly smart. It has its own built-in system for self-regulation. After a poor night, it will naturally prioritize deeper, more restorative sleep the next time you rest. You don't have to consciously try to recover every single lost hour. You can actually trust your body to do what it needs to do.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've challenged some old, unhelpful beliefs, and we've met the powerful internal clock that's meant to guide our rest. This knowledge, this is your new map. The question now is, with a better sense of the terrain, are you ready to learn how to navigate it?